Hello and welcome to the Fit and Free podcast. This is a podcast for women who want it all, to feel strong and confident in their bodies, as well as enjoying a sneaky mug on a Friday night. I'm an exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist, here to teach you how to achieve your body goals without food and your body controlling your life. So let's jump in. Hello you guys and welcome back to another episode of the Fit and Free podcast. I hope you're having a fantastic morning or day or whenever you're listening to this. I'm currently sitting in my house just looking out the window and I'm absolutely loving this new place that I'm at. As I look out the window, there are so many beautiful trees and it's so green and it's just really peaceful. So that's an absolute vibe. Life has been pretty the same as of late. Recently, I bought a Kindle. That is my news for this week. It's actually been so game-changing. I used to read so much as a kid, and it's definitely something that I stopped doing. However, when I found the Colleen Hoover books, if you haven't read those yet, you kind of need to, I forgot how much that I love reading fiction books. Me being type A, just really trying to always constantly, invest in myself, invest in my own education and constantly learn. A lot of the book choices that I would always go to would be like self-development, non-fiction books. So they're the ones that I would always read and always go to. I don't think I've picked up a fiction book since the Harry Potter series. So you can see that's a really long time. But thinking back to it now, I'm like, I can't believe that I went so long without reading fiction books because I freaking love reading Harry Potter, and that's just my childhood. And I think I read all the books at least twice, maybe even 3 times, some of them, especially The Goblet of Fire, my favorite. But I forgot that I actually love reading fiction books. So I tested the waters in terms of I bought a few fiction books and some of them I read them in about a week. So I was putting off buying a Kindle for a while, but I finally took the plunge and oh my God, it has been so worth it. Just the ease of use, being able to hold it. I don't know about you guys, but some books where you read that are really big, it's really clunky to sit there and hold them. First world problems, I know. But this Kindle is just such a game changer because you literally can hold it in one hand and you can read your whole book. And it just makes reading so enjoyable. Plus, you can snap your fingers and you've got a book that you want. You don't even have to go anywhere. So it's just that's my news of the week that I'm really excited about. I read a really fantastic book over the weekend about understanding how we think and how to kind of break free of taking all our thoughts so seriously. So if you want to know the name of the book, send me a DM because it was such a good read and it gave me so much insight to my own brain and how I was processing and thinking, and a lot of the times overthinking when I really didn't necessarily need to. But yeah, if you want the name of the book, just send me a message on Instagram because I'll get that. But the other book that I'm reading at the moment is, again, I went back to Colleen Hoover. Such a good read. Such an easy read, romantic / traumatic, I would say. I think the one that I'm reading right now is Vanity, I believe it's called. But only early days, so I can't tell you too much about that. Can't tell you if it's worth it or not yet because I'm only 15% of the way through the book. The Kindle tells you how far you're into the book. So that's how I know it's 15%. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. I'm looking into going scuba diving, which I'm super excited about. I just have to go into the dive shop and organize that, but we'll be going diving over the next few weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that. Filling up my cup, being underwater, one of my favorite things. But yeah, that's about it at the moment. Just chilling and being present here in Lombok. So I'm super excited about today's episode because it's literally something that I wish that I got told literally at the start of my fitness journey, because for so long I was really trying to focus on weight loss. I was constantly trying to lose weight. I was constantly looking at the scale and trying to make it lower. I was constantly measuring my waist circumference to try and make that smaller. So of course, you put 2 and 2 together, right? Okay, I want to get smaller. I want to lose weight. So what do I have to do? I have to be in a calorie deficit. So that's constantly what I was trying to do. I was trying to diet. I was trying to, try a new diet, trying to, lose weight. And then I would jump to the next one, try and lose weight, and jump to the next one, try and lose weight. And I want to paint a picture on kind of my own experience and really what I've learned through that. And then also giving you some really tangible tips that are absolutely going to help you so much is I want to go back to my gym day era of when I was jumping around doing gym challenges. And forever, my goal was always, anytime I did one of those gym challenges, it was always weight loss. I want to lose weight. I want to, drop body fat. Because what my real goal was I actually wanted to get a fit, toned, lean physique. I really wanted to, I would have photos on my phone of these really fit, toned girls screenshotted onto my phone. And I was like, that's what I want to look like. I really want to be able to be really fit and lift heavy and look like those gym girls. So what did I think? I always thought that I had to drop body fat. So whenever I would go into these gym challenges, of course, what was my goal? It was fat loss. So I would always, get on the in-body scan, jump on, and it would tell me, okay, cool, your body fat percentage is sitting at about 18%. You'll do the challenge, you would be super restrictive. I would all of a sudden have this wave of motivation to how I wasn't going to go out with my friends, how I was going to avoid eating out, how I was going to not eat so many sweets, how I was going to be really good and probably told myself I was going to eat clean across the 8 weeks. So of course, you get on the scan again at the end. And yeah, it absolutely worked. I would always, drop 2% body fat. So dropping down to 16%. But then I would always look at myself in the mirror and still never be happy with what I saw. I would always still my physique would always stay the same as it would be skinny fat. And I love this term because that's how I would describe what my body looked like. And skinny fat, what I mean by that is my body fat to muscle ratio was, my body fat was higher than my muscle ratio. So no matter how much body fat that I would lose, I would still have no definition in my body. No matter how many more gym challenges I did, you'd finish the gym challenge and then you have the gym challenge party, get wasted or whatever. And then, you go back into your old habits 3 weeks later and you're just back at square one. So of course it's never sustainable, any sort of restriction like that. Anyway. But the thing was no matter how little I ate, no matter how much exercise I did, I never saw the change in the body, what I was actually looking for. So many people make this mistake because you're focusing on the wrong thing. Because instead of focusing on just trying to drop body fat, if you do not go through a period of time of intentionally trying to build muscle, in terms of I'm not saying you're going to get bulky when I say build muscle. I'm going to say you're going to have shape to your body. If you never go through a period of intentionally eating at maintenance calories and following a structured exercise program, no matter how much body fat you lose, you're still going to be stuck in this skinny fat cycle because you're still not going to be happy with your physique. Because the thing is, guys, is that I see this all the time is people really want to drop body fat, but in their heads, they want a toned physique, right? So what do? Okay, let's set ourselves up to everything that we know that will help us drop body fat. So that being, I'm going to eat in a calorie deficit and I'm going to do cardio because I know that burns more calories than resistance training. And the thing is that it absolutely does. Cardio does burn more calories than resistance training. However, the problem lies is that we don't want to be burning calories with our exercise. That's not the goal of our exercise. The goal of our exercise is to shape our physique. And if we're constantly just focusing on burning calories, then we're not going to create any shape to our physique, and therefore we're going to be left at that skinny fat position. Because like the dieting industry has literally drilled into us, do more, sweat more intense. And literally like I call bullshit, because if you have a certain physique goal, like why would you destroy yourself into the ground and eat as little as possible and never actually end up getting there? So if your goal is to get more of a toned physique, as in you don't want to be skinny fat, you don't want more body fat percentage than your lean muscle mass, then you absolutely do not necessarily need to focus on fat loss. What you actually need to be focusing on is building lean muscle. Once you have the lean muscle, then you can go through a calorie deficit if you like, or you might be just happy with your physique change. You have to think about it, right? Like think about bodybuilders. And of course, like I never ever like would want my body to look like what the bodybuilders look like on their show. However, we can look at their sport, and I call it a sport because I don't really believe in the bodybuilding industry anyway. That's a different topic of conversation for another day. However, what do? They spend like 9 months out of their year in their, what do they call it? Their performance enhancement phase. Like they're in a maintenance or a bulking phase for like 9 months of the year. They're not constantly dieting. They're not constantly pulling back the body fat, because the thing is, guys, is that number one, we know the body doesn't like to be in a calorie deficit. It's not healthy to be in a constant calorie deficit. It's not healthy to constantly be losing weight, putting it back on, losing weight, putting it back on. So what do you need to do is you need to learn how to eat at maintenance calories. So I want you guys to think about this really carefully, and I want you to reflect in and around your own goals and what your goals are. And if your goals are to, have more definition in a toned physique, and you're already sitting at a pretty low body fat percentage, and I see this all the time with girls, they think they need to lose body fat. I'm like, babe, you don't have any body fat to lose. You need to build muscle. Like the amount of times that I say that, especially to my clients, I'm like, girlfriend, you don't need to go for a run. You need to get stronger and eat more calories. So take some time and really reflect in and around what your goals are, right? I'm not talking to everyone right now. I definitely think there's a space for all of it. However, I just want to talk to you. If you are trying to get that toned physique and you're constantly focusing on weight loss, maybe you're actually making a really, really big mistake. So how do you know if you are making these mistakes? Let's go there. So if you're stuck in the skinny fat cycle, what it kind of looks like is your physique is your body fat percentage is higher than your lean muscle mass. You are really focusing on calories, constantly really focusing on eating low calories, and you're not really ever focused on counting macros. You don't really think about your protein, you're not thinking about your carbs, you're not thinking about your fats, but you're really focusing on your total amount of calories. Your exercise is, a lot of it is like high intense, it's a lot of cardio. And then traditionally, normally you're like picking it if you are, the type of exercise that you're choosing is more so to burn calories. And they could be, working off your food, feeling guilty, feeling bad, and X, Y, and Z. You're probably training more than 5 times a week. You may be, feeling guilty for having a rest day. You might, even throw in more than 1 session a day, as in like you'll do a strength training session and then you'll throw in some cardio on top of that because you feel like you haven't done enough. Or maybe you've like done a strength session in the morning, you've gone for your walk with your dog, and then you have done your Pilates class in the afternoon. Big sign that you're stuck here is that no matter how little you eat, no matter how much you try and diet, eat in a calorie deficit, no matter how much exercise you do, you're still not seeing that body composition change, as in decrease in fat tissue and increase in lean muscle mass that you're absolutely looking for. So, how the hell do you break free of this skinny fat cycle? So, I'm going to break down what you guys actually need to do. And hear me out, because I think it's going to be a lot of things that you're like, whoa, no, I'm not doing that. But you then have to question yourself. It's like, well, how much longer can you do the same thing and expect like a different result? Because I remember like going through this phase when I was skinny fat for such a long time and just constantly losing weight and putting it back on, is that like when I started doing these things that I am about to explain to you guys, is that my body composition changed like so much faster than what I had. Like it changed so quickly. And I was like, holy shit, why have I not been doing this for the last 2 years? It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to explain to you guys what you actually need to do to break free so that you can finally start seeing the definition in your body that you've been working so freaking hard to achieve. So the first one comes down to a smart training program, okay? So you have to think about it, okay? Skinny fat, high amount of body fat, low amount of muscle mass. Cool. I need to be able to change that ratio. So I want to get more lean muscle and less body fat. How do I get lean muscle? That's through strength training, okay? And that's why we don't want to use exercise ever really to like change, like create a calorie deficit. Like, yes, we can use it to, you know, break through a calorie deficit, a fat loss plateau. But what we want to do is we want to be using our nutrition and setting that up to create the calorie deficit, to create the maintenance, to create the surplus. Because you want to look at your exercise as the thing that's more so shaping what you look like. Because number one, you need to build muscle if you want to break free of the skinny fat cycle. We need to be lifting weights because the muscles need enough stimulus against the resistance in order to give them a reason to change, right? So you want to think about like we literally have to break down our muscle and then build it back up with our nutrition and through our recovery, through rest, in order to make it bigger. Right? And you're not going to build big muscles in, I'm going to say a year. I've been trying to build muscle for so long and like, look at me. Am I bulky? No. So we want to making sure we've got a smart training plan to make sure that we get the definition in our muscles. So what that looks like is not focusing on HIIT. It's not focusing on jump squats, burpees, on jump lunges, on like doing, you know, even Metcon, right? Like doing 7 exercises, 7 rounds. Like it's still fast paced. And the problem is with these fast paced sort of exercises is that you're not giving your muscles, you're not putting enough tension and mechanical stimulus through your muscles. So that more so during these sort of exercises, you're really working your cardiovascular system. You're working your muscular endurance. However, you're not focusing on putting enough resistance through the muscles to break them down so they're not going to adapt and get bigger. And that's really what we need to do if you want to break free of that skinny fat cycle. So what does a smart training plan look like? It looks like prioritizing your strength training, and strength training, hypertrophy training, all is really going to help in changing that body composition. So following a program, same thing for 6 weeks and progressively overloading. So say in your program, you've got back squats. In week 1, you've done 40 kilos. Week 2, you're doing 42.5. Week 3 is 45. Week 4 is 47.5. Like that's what it would look like. Really simple, really basic, but literally what you want to think about is just getting better at your movements and getting stronger at them. That is what's going to shape your body, not doing 100 jump squats. So of course, what we have to do as well of having a really smart training program, we also need to support that training program with our nutrition. And this is the big thing, right? It's not eating in a calorie deficit. And that's something that so many active women are getting wrong. They think they just need to diet all the time. But what you actually need to do is eat at maintenance calories. Because number one, you can't sit in a calorie deficit for a really long period of time, especially if you already are quite small. Because you're going to run into things like metabolic adaptation. You're going to run into low energy availability. It's going to interfere with your hormones, might interfere with the menstrual cycle. It might interfere with your energy levels, your digestion, and everything that comes with that. So that's why it's really important to spend time at maintenance calories. And by doing that, it's going to support your body to change in the ways of body recomposition. And this is something I think that not many people are focusing on. And it's what I really have focused on for the last 2 years is I haven't really done very many bulks and cuts. I've really focused literally on the last 2 years of just eating at maintenance calories and just having a really smart exercise program that has changed my body composition. So by doing that, eating at maintenance calories, you can get the effects of dropping your body fat and increasing your lean muscle, but staying at the same weight. And that's what this whole concept of body recomposition is. I'm like, oh yeah, I could deficit and then I could bulk and then I could deficit. Or I could just play the really long waiting game, which I have been, because like I don't really want to put that much time and effort into like counting every calorie. This is just me, right? Like this is not you, but this is what I do. And I've just been playing the long game and just been watching my body composition change. So this is a big thing that a lot of people are afraid of. And I hear you as well, because I was absolutely so terrified of increasing my calories. I was so afraid of eating more. I was so afraid to let go of the fact that I had to be in a diet, in a deficit. I was so afraid of what my body would do, because for so long I was stuck in this skinny fat cycle. And the reason why I was afraid is because anytime in the past when I did increase my calories, I would just gain weight in the terms of body fat. Like I wasn't seeing that body composition change when I did eat more. And that's because I didn't have my exercise routine structured smartly. I didn't focus on my macros, which I'm going to talk about. I didn't know how to eat at maintenance. I didn't know what it was. And that's the thing, guys. I say this all the time to all my clients is like, any phase of your journey, you're going to be in one of three phases. You're going to be in a maintenance phase, you're going to be in a deficit phase, and you're going to be in a surplus phase. Like you don't have to do stupid diets. All you have to do is know your own numbers, and then you can cycle through them. So eating at maintenance calories, on top of the maintenance calories, you need to know your macros. And all macros are, I've done a few podcasts about that already, but if this is your first time listening, all macros are nutrients that the body needs in large amounts. So our calories are really important in terms of the total calories that we need. So that is our maintenance. But then we also need to think about what we're eating as well, because our macronutrients play different roles in the body, and that's going to be responsible for what our body looks like, is what I like to say. Because protein, you hear it all the time, why it's important. It's important because that's the macronutrient that's going to allow your body to see shape. If you're not eating a high protein diet, then you're not going to have enough protein to give to the muscles, because that's what it uses to repair itself. So anytime you ingest protein, it signals protein muscle synthesis. So what that means is you eat some protein and then it signals to be like, oh, cool, I need to use this to repair my muscles, so that we get the repair and the recovery and the growth that we need to break free of that skinny fat cycle. And then, of course, we need to think about, we need enough carbohydrate. We need enough carbohydrate for our energy levels. If you're not eating enough carbohydrates, then you're going to be really sluggish. You're going to be craving a lot of sugar, and you're probably going to be like flat stick at 3 p.m. where you're like, holy shit, I need that third coffee of the day just to get me through. And then our fats as well, of course, is so essential for, our absorption of our micronutrients, our fat-soluble vitamins, our hormones, our immune function, and so many other things in the body. So it's really, really important, not all just for aesthetic reasons, like we're there for that, but also for health reasons. So like literally one of the biggest mistakes that I see, like I said before, is people are just focusing on calories. And because if you're just focusing on calories, then you are going to be stuck in that skinny fat cycle, because total calories, absolutely, that's going to help you fluctuate your weight. However, you need the combination of resistance training and your macronutrients in order to get that body composition change in terms of dropping body fat and gaining lean muscle. And you have to remember is that going back to the maintenance calories thing is, this is the fun time. Eating at maintenance is the best because you have so much flexibility. You have so many calories that you get to eat. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's, it's not stressful. Eating in a calorie deficit isn't fun. Let's be real. Trying to lose body fat is not fun. It's simple in terms of how to do it once you understand how to fuel your body correctly. However, it's still not as fun as eating at maintenance. So this is the time to enjoy yourself. This is the time to use the food to get stronger in the gym. And the stronger you get, the more muscle you're going to build. So It's super fun. And I know it's scary. I feel you. And then the last thing that you really need to focus on is to break free of this skinny fat cycle is rest. And this is something that so many people are making the mistake of. I myself is included. You know, going for a walk in the morning, going to do your HIIT 45-minute session, and then maybe doing some Pilates in the afternoon. Yeah, I hear you. I was there. However, this is actually hindering your progress because you're not allowing your body to recover. And if you don't have the recovery component of this formula of nutrition, exercise, and recovery, then you're not going to see change in your body. And I know you might be thinking, but Loz, I just love to exercise. Like, I love being active, doing Pilates, X, Y, and Z. Like, so for that. However, you have to think about it a little bit strategically in terms of, okay, cool, I have this goal. I have to do this to achieve it. And then if I'm doing too much, then I'm actually hindering my progress. So this is my opportunity. So if you're there and you love exercise, what else do you love in your life? Maybe you want to get into interior design. Maybe you want to get into fashion. Maybe you want to get into playing an instrument. Maybe you want to get into, having other hobbies other than exercise, other than thinking about your food 24/7. Because the thing is that when your life revolves around food and exercise, it can be really hard to pull yourself out of it and pull yourselves out of the guilt and the shame when you don't miss a session, instead of actually enjoying your life and enjoying more things in your life. Because we put so much pressure on ourselves to having to train a certain amount, and we put so much pressure on ourselves to burn an amount of calories, especially, if our diet isn't perfect. So it's absolutely so draining, and the energetic leak that it's causing so many women, I see it all the time, is really hard to watch. And it's hard for me to watch is because I know how it feels. I know how it feels when you feel like you have to do 2 exercise sessions a day. And it's so also controlling and also consuming. So that's why you guys need to know is that rest is so, so important in order to break free of that skinny fat cycle. So just a wrap up of and a bit of a summary of today's episode. So we really broke down what is skinny fat, why you might be stuck there, and some really tangible things that you guys need to focus on in able to break free of that. Like always, I appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you're listening to my episode, and I will see you all next week. I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.